Hi guys, it's Mrs. Geiger here, and I wanted to record a video explaining the directions for creating your infographic and the requirements for your screencast of this. So this used to be a presentation that we did in class, and I graded it. And there were some requirements for the presentation. I'm not going to use the same grading rubric as I did before, as this time around when you record, it's going to be extra credit. And therefore, there's just some guidelines that I would like you to follow. So you might want to take some notes on these guidelines as I explain them. Here they are. I'm going to go through some examples to show you some really good infographics that my students have created in the past, and I think that will help guide your understanding. All right. So the guidelines are that you want the video to take no more than 3 minutes. 3 minutes is really our maximum amount. We're looking for something between 1.5 and 3 minutes when you're looking for a target amount of time that you are presenting. Think of it as a short little clip that really gives the idea for your project. You want to make sure you cover the basics of what your project is about, what your theme is. You have to talk about the bonding that's involved and also a chemical reaction that is crucial. Your slide also needs to include relevant pictures of the object and the bonding in the chemical formula. So let me show you some good ones. So here's bowling a strike. Bowling a strike, you'll notice that the author is here, the name of the title is here, and there's relevant graphics and pictures. The chemical formula is here for that polymer, and there are some basics behind this. The slide should not have a ton of words on it, but instead bulleted points. So I would say that this slide even may have too many words, but you want to be able to guide the reader through your presentation. So this had some animations. We talked about monomers and polymers, which is really concise, and those covalent bonds there. You'll see that the chemical reaction is here, where there are the reactants, and then there's the yield symbol, and then the product. And all of the pieces were explained, how the reaction is a dehydration synthesis, and some interesting pictures on how urethane and reacted urethane are different in structure. So structure and function is also mentioned here. So here is another example of a project that was really good. This is about dreams, and you'll notice that these are the two main components, and the chemical formulas are given here. And then there's some animation which was talked about in terms of both the neurotransmitters and the hormones and what makes the melatonin different from the acetylcholine. You'll notice in this presentation, this student talked about the electronegativity of the oxygens and the nitrogen, so they're highlighted in this picture here. So that was a key component to the chemical reaction that was spoken about. In this next slide, you'll see that it has to do with bells, and that bells are really alloys. So this was talking about alloys. This project was done around the holidays, so that's why you'll notice a lot of holiday-themed projects this year with these students. And so you'll see that relevant chemical compositions and chemical formulas and chemical reactions were included here. This is one of my favorite projects of all time about vinyl records, and you'll notice that in this project the reaction is given here, but what's most important is the chemical formula and bonding that takes place in that polyvinyl chloride. And you'll notice the chlorine there is highlighted for the chloride ion, which is part of making of this type of plastic. So, and then this is the raw product, and then here is the chemical formula of that product from the nitrocellulose, which is the other component here. So there's two main components again. And then the actual product, what it looks like, that's a blank record. There's also Chemistry of the Piano, another great example, chemical formulas, chemical reaction, point shoes, chemical formulas there. Right here, there's chemical formulas, and here's the molecular structure talking about form and function. Here's the chemistry of snow. Notice we're talking about hydrogen bonds. LED screens, pictures, chemical formula, chemical reaction, form and function. Here's another one, chemical formula, chemical reaction. Obviously, excited electrons falling back down to the ground state, but also a new concept talking about oxidation and reduction. This is optimism, similar idea. Stress. Going through these quickly because I figure you can pause the video if you need to. Sleep. And the chemistry of the hair straightener. So here's the hydrogen bonds in hair that make your hair curly, and this was explaining how the heat of the hair straightener breaks those hydrogen bonds, and that is what causes the hair to go from curly to straight, which interestingly enough is also how DNA and protein curls into the same kind of structure. So, you know, varying topics, and I just had a lot of different types of topics this year. So that was just some of the best examples. Make sure that you put your name on your slide as well. Give yourself some credit. Your face doesn't need to be in the video. Just like this, you can just cast your screen. But main thing is chemical components, 2 chemical components, and the chemical formulas and a chemical reaction. 1.5 to 3 minutes. All right, if you have any questions, please contact me, let me know, and make sure that you share the link with me and make it so that it is viewable. All right, thanks a lot.